it's Melissa here and welcome back to my normal posting on the Scrappery channel. Today I'm making this beautiful layout, and this video I did think about calling it the evolution of a scrapbook page because I haven't edited out the bits that went wrong. And I was going to, and then my husband said, no, you should leave them in because not everything goes perfectly. Not every page is perfect, and we all have days where we just struggle to get our creative flow. So what I did there was I took the speciality paper that's it's like a, well, it's not like, it is a die cut 12 by 12, and I just sprayed it with the Kaisercraft Gold Mist, and so it's left that beautiful pattern that you can see there, and it actually looks a lot better on video than it did in person. So for this page, the first thing I thought of aside from spraying the mist was having a pocket, because I wanted to use up a lot of the sequins, and so I put most of them into this little piece of packaging, and then I thought, no, I need to put some more in because this is quite a big pocket. So I added some more, and I just pulled out the things that went in that I didn't want in there. And then I've just sealed it off with double-sided tape, and I had to make sure there wasn't too much air in there because I didn't want it to be three-dimensional. So I have sacrificed this doily. I'll be honest, it was really, really hard to use these doilies because they are so beautiful. And so all I've done is fold it over, and I did think about having the whole doily on there, but then I thought, no, I don't like to waste anything that's so beautiful like this, so I've cut it in half, and I'll use the other half on another piece of the layout. Now, I've still got a cold. It's a cough now as well, so I've got my cup of tea and some water, and hopefully I won't cough my way through this entire process. So there is something extra in this video, and as I said on Instagram in my little sneak peek teaser, you have to watch the whole video to see what it is. So that will be coming up after this layout. So here I'm just getting some of the border strips off a couple of pieces of the paper. I love to use them as well, and they are just little pieces of paper that, what I'm trying to say is that the patterns that we already have. So I know some companies will do a separate border that's nothing to do with, that's not represented in 12 by 12, but these are 12 by 12s. Okay, so I've put that at the top, and then I knew I needed something to ground my layout, or my photos, and I had this piece that I'd cut off from something else. It's beautiful watercolour with text, and I thought it would look lovely. These are photos of Brielle from summer, and I've scrapped a few of these already, and I had about 4 left over. So something's not looking right to me, and I played around with 1 photo, 2 photos. I added a piece of that tulle with gold, but I didn't like the fact that it was all covered up. So here I'm just really playing and trying to work out what it is that's not working for me on this layout. I thought that maybe if I cut this piece into a banner, that would help. So I've cut a couple of fishtail ends just to provide a bit more interest, and so it's not just a solid block. So I'm going to try that out, but I'm still not happy. I thought about putting this piece at the bottom, and I was all set to go and commit to it. And then I realised that the problem I'm having with this page is my misting. I'm just really not happy with how that's looking. You can't really see it on the video, but in person there was a line around the edge, which is the line of that cut file, or the interior line of it anyway. And I didn't like the way it suddenly went from mist to nothing. So I thought, I'm going to have to go with good old white background. I wasn't really feeling it today when I created this, so as soon as I turned it over I felt a lot better. I thought I will add another banner, and so I'm using that piece of marbled paper. I think it's an amazing piece of paper. I would struggle to use it as a full background, but in small pieces I think it works really well. Then I'd had this piece of, I guess it's twine. I'd had that out from the mini album I made, which I showed on Saturday, and Ordinarily I would just use these on tags and just put them through the loops and cut them apart, but I thought no, I'm going to do something a bit different, and so I tied it around my banner, and this is something that Jen Gallagher would do. I've learnt a lot from her, including how I cut my banners actually, and I thought this will provide a bit more interest and be something a bit different. So I've just secured both ends with some staples as well. That also adds some texture, a different material on the page, and it has the function of holding that in place. And so what followed from here was a lot of playing around with placement again. Now that pocket of sequins is very large, and I think that's what has thrown me off a bit, because it is so large and I want it to act as a third element. So it's just a matter of deciding where to put it. I knew I wanted to use the other side of that doily as well, and I thought it would balance it well on the right side. So I'm happy with the placement of that bag of sequins. So I want to put my tape behind the doily so you can't see it, because it's obviously a clear element. And that double-sided tape really does hold things really well. I've used it for years. And I just get it from my local Spotlight. So now I'm working on the placement of these photos. This was from last summer, so it's amazing how much your children grow when you're in a current season and you scrap last season's photos. So I put my doily down, and at this point I'm realising that I've put my banner on crooked, and I was getting quite frustrated with myself by this point. I couldn't leave it because of the border at the bottom. It was really obvious, so I just ripped it up and glued it back down. And that's, I guess, one of the benefits of using liquid adhesive, is that you can, if you're quick enough, get in there and just rip it up and then stick it back again. Adding some foam now on the back of this photo. I knew I needed it to pop up a bit. And foam, for the foam, I find the double-sided tape the best thing to adhere it. So it's popped up, not too much, but enough that it's a little bit dimensional. So I've saved you the tedious task of watching, not that watching me is tedious, I hope, but anyway, me fussy cutting is not a great thing, so I've cut that out just to speed this up. And so I've cut 3 flowers and I've just placed them on the page. Now, prepare yourselves, I'm about to do something really, really wild and out there. Not really. I'm cutting this apart. I was never going to use the green side. Green and me don't get on that well. And I did think about using the white side, but I was never going to use it as a full sheet, because it probably doesn't really go with my style. It would have been a bit much. So it has some beautiful butterflies and flowers. And for this page, I wanted to cut apart the butterflies. So when you cut the bits off, there's like tendrils and flowers. You just have to go with the flow and just cut where you think the butterfly would go, if that makes sense. I wasn't too worried about it. I just sort of went for it, and I'm really happy with how it looks. I'm wanting to make sure I place this large flower cluster in the centre, so I've used the grid on my mat for that. And that's me struggling with Tombow again. I'm getting to the bottom of it, but I like to use as much up as possible. So I'm just putting a little bit of Tombow on both sides of the flowers and also on both sides of the butterflies to be absolutely certain that they will stick. And just trimming off the excess. A little reminder of how the page was going. Now this bow is really beautiful. It comes in the main kit in the pretty little pieces, and it's gold and pretty solid. So I've placed a vellum sticker on top of the doily, and it says "What a Beautiful Life." And then I have placed some puffy stickers. So I've got a heart, and now I'm using for the title just the word love. Now I could have had many different titles for this, but I thought this page is already so busy. These puffy stickers are white with, let me have a look, blue floral detail, and they're just simple and beautiful. I hadn't used these cork embellishments yet, and I was really keen to, so I didn't overthink this. I just got some of the, I think the stars, put them in 5 different places on my layout, and then stuck a couple of butterflies over the half butterflies. Then I'm using the Kaisercraft teal rhinestones, and I'm just adding 2 to each cluster, a bigger one and a smaller one. And then I decided that the cluster at the top needed a piece of butterfly, so I'm just stapling that on. And here's a trick for tying a bow to get your ends looking nice, your tails looking nice. I always turn my project upside down and tie my bow, and that, yeah, like I said, it makes sure that the tails go down. So that's what I'm doing there. And I've cut this bit out, but I did put a glue dot just behind the center of that bow just to make sure it stays in place. And now it's time to add my journaling. Gave it a shake there just to get the sequins moving. So I'm not doing a whole lot of journaling. Like I said, I've already scrapped, I think, 1 photo of Brielle on this day, playing in the water. And I've also made a page because Azaria, my oldest daughter, she was 6 at the time, and she was playing too. So I do have another page of the 2 girls together. But I don't like to leave a page unjournaled unless it's a cover page for an album. So my final touch on this page is to add some of the gold, and I'm trying to be restrained because I tend to go way over the top with splattering. So I'm just got a big piece of A4 paper just to practice with. So on to my bonus project. I have these 2 photos that I really don't want to make another page with, but I thought I'd make a little 6x12 pocket page, and this is how I deal with multiple photos. I'll often do one 12x12, and then as many of these I'd do, or even I'd do a 12x12 pocket page or a 6x12, depending on how many photos I have. So I've taken that beautiful tulle, and I love that it was nearly cut to 3x4 size. I have fussy cut another flower, and now I'm cutting a bit of butterfly, and I will be putting that on the side. So this is also not going to be journaling heavy. There'll be a little bit of journaling because I think it needs it. But like I said, I've already scrapped these photos, or photos from this day already. So this is really just a really good way to include more photos without doing a big full-on 12x12. So now I'm just wanting to see how it's going to look in the pocket. And I had a bit of trouble getting it in, and I think it was bunching up a bit. So I'm just going to get my little guillotine trimmer and trim it off. And it cut it really well. I just use the grid lines, of course, to make sure it's straight. And then I realised I need to trim that little piece as well. And I've just sped this up because it's not really that interesting. I could have cut it out, but I thought I'd let you see it because it's the whole process. Okay, and now on to this little 3x4 card, which I've cut from the same paper that I made my large banner. I'm just adding some splatters. So my aim with this is as close to a double page layout as I get. The aim is to make the 2 pages look coherent and to show that they relate. So I'd want to use similar papers or same papers, same embellishments. Not everything has to be the same. Like, I haven't added any sequins, but you'll definitely see the main elements are there. So now that I have done my splattering, that mist, by the way, it dries so fast, which is fantastic. Now I'm getting a doily from the Pretty Little Pieces. No, it's not the same doily as the other one, but that doesn't matter. It's still a doily. and I'm just going to use some Tombow just to glue that down. And then I'm going to, I did consider trimming this, but I thought no, if I fold the edges over, it's going to be easier with dealing with getting it into the pocket, and I'm just securing it with some washi tape. Now, I don't know what will go on the other side of this pocket. If you could see what I can see right now, I have a mega pile of layouts from last year that I need to put away. I promised this before, but I will take a photo of them and post it on Instagram. I think you'll be quite shocked. Thing is, it's not even all the layouts. It's basically a year's worth of layouts. Because I was so sick last year, I just would scrap and just stack them up. So what I'm trying to say is I don't know where this would go in her album. But I'm not worried about having nothing on the back side of that pocket anyway. So here I've added a puffy sticker, I think. No, a vellum sticker that says remember, some cork embellishments, and some more of those Kaisercraft rhinestones. That little heart says love grows wild, which is so cute. And now I'm just going through the kit. It's a real mess. What you can't see is a real mess. That little puffy says beautiful life. And so I've gone through the kit and pulled out these LE Studio snippets. And I'm just, at this point, I thought I was going to use the black one, but then I decided to go with teal because it really suits those rhinestones. And just using that guillotine to make sure I get a straight edge. Now I want to do a tiny little piece of journaling on there, and I'm going to run it off the edge so I can trim off a little piece of excess. And I like the way that looks. And I'm just writing her a little note on there. So just finishing up my little piece of journaling and putting it into the pocket. I hope you enjoyed this bonus little page. I often make these pages, I just don't show them. Do make sure you subscribe to this channel because the other design team ladies make amazing projects and you just don't want to miss out. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back again with you next Tuesday. Take care and have a wonderful week.